Exposing students to the horrors of what our emergency departments deal with every day before they end up in the ED themselves.
Just having a bit of fun, and it didn't go quite as planned, and now he has to suffer the consequence of his actions.
It was a skateboard ride that nearly cost Will his ability to walk.
I had a bit too much speed and lost control as I was trying to dodge a car, hit a median strip and hit a pole and broke my leg. They had to ring my mum to ask for consent to chop my foot off.
Whether on a skateboard or behind the wheel, each week 4 young Aussies are killed when mixing risky behaviour with alcohol.
Kids that come into hospital, and we know they shouldn't be lying in our resuscitation bed, okay? Because they've made a really stupid decision, a very simple decision.
And what does it feel like?
Pretty hard.
It's pretty hard, isn't it? So this is the tube that we feed him through.
Prevent Alcohol and Risky Related Trauma in Youth, or P.A.R.T.Y as it's called, is a program about showing young people the risks and consequences so they might think twice about their one life.
I was quite an eye-opener on what can actually happen.
They're a bit gross and, yeah, a bit flawed.
And it's not just the young people who have to live with the consequences.
The paramedic who helped, the coroner who examined the body.
We are sick of seeing the same old thing happen day in, day out. Young people presenting to our emergency departments all around the state and the country for that matter.
Then would you do it again?
I'd get back on the longboard, but I'd think twice before, giving that hill a go again.
Will was lucky, but not everyone is. You live once, so make sure you think twice. Phoebe Moore, Prime 7 News.
Guys, so Chloe's going to tell us her story now. Okay guys, show some respect please.
Anybody who's ever consumed alcohol, raise your hand. Anybody who's ever felt pressured into drinking? Yep. That's sort of my story, not really the pressured into drinking part, but just the getting over the top with the drinking. On New Year's Eve 2007, I was blind, drunk, wasted on vodka cruises, and I lived upstairs above the laundromat on Molong, just on the corner, and I walked over the railings of my balcony along the awning 7 metres and fell, legs first, face down. I damaged my spinal cord on the C4 to 5 vertebrae, I broke my back, I broke my sternum, I broke both of my femurs in my legs, I broke my right wrist, I flipped my hand to my arm, that still hurts like hell. I ripped the skin away from my skull, I split my skull in 5 different places. I damaged my brain like really bad, and what we had yesterday, you've got 2 litres of, no, you've got 6.5 litres of blood in your body. If you lose 2 litres of blood, your body goes into shock. If you lose 5.5 litres of blood, it kills you. And this is 1 litre. That's how much was left in my body. That was enough to kill me. And I don't know how I came back, so it was, I think I've always been one of those people that was too stubborn to say, no, stuff you, you're not going to kill me. But as you can see, it's landed me in this. And so I was, after I was stabilised, well, I was actually, my heart stopped beating for about half an hour.
But where did they take you, Chloe?
They took me from ambulance to the Orange Hospital.
Who found you? Who found you?
The guy that I worked with, Andrew, he was the butcher at the supermarket where I worked, and ironically enough, I fell off a butcher's roof and a butcher saved my life, but still, I owe my life to him. And
did he watch you walking along that?
Yeah, he watched me and he told me to go back, like, no, just, I'd done it before, but you know what, who would have thought it could happen to me? And that's every single time I made a mistake in my life, and every single time I did something stupid, I always thought that it wasn't going to happen to me, and every time I was wrong. So I They had to defibrillate me with the...
In the emergency department?
No, when I was on the footpath, while Andrew was holding my head together to keep my brain from falling out, literally. And so they took me to the Orange Hospital, and when I was stable enough there, they went, and I died in the ambulance as well.
So they had to resuscitate you twice, so they had to shock you?
Yep.
And give you life-saving medications?
Yep. They had to give me enough blood to keep me alive, and so I died in the ambulance. When I got to the Orange Hospital, I think I died again, and then I got airlifted by care flight to the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital in Sydney, and I was placed into an induced coma for 3 weeks and died a few times there as well. My heart stopped beating, and then so I was put in an induced coma for 3 weeks, and after the 3 weeks the doctors gave my parents an ultimatum, and they said, listen, the best case scenario if she was to wake up, she'd be paralysed from the neck down and severely brain damaged, and they gave the options to say, do you want to turn the life support off? And my dad and everybody on my dad's side of the family said, no, don't turn it off. There was one person who I will remain nameless in my family that wanted to turn it off, but that person has not been forgiven yet. But good enough, and I am alive, and because my dad had enough faith in me that I was going to be pulled through, and I did, and I'm alive, and because the doctors thought I'd be put on a ventilator and not be able to do anything for the rest of my life. I have limited use on this hand. I can't move these 2 fingers, and I have limited use on this arm and about 90% use on this hand. So after 3 weeks, after 5 weeks, I was stable enough to go to surgery where my legs had to be rebroken to put them back together. They had to put titanium rods in both my legs to set them in place, and they're sort of still not really in place that well anymore. When I was in a coma, they had to put a tracheostomy in, so breathing tube through here into my lungs. I was on a neck brace for when I was in a coma, so I have a mark under my chin from the neck brace, and when I was in surgery, they had to re-break my legs, and they had to put a rod down the back of my neck, a titanium rod down the back of my neck, then down my legs from my knees to my hips to keep my legs where they're supposed to be. My brain had extensive injuries. It was ripped to shreds, so I can be a little bit vague and fuzzy and sort of go back a step and then go forward a step, but that's the brain injury part of it. It's but I'm pretty good considering what the doctor said that I was going to be. So after I was after the surgery and after I was stable enough, they took me to Royal Prince Alfred Hospital in Sydney. I was there for 3 months. Royal Ride brain injury rehabilitation for 3 months, Murong spinal rehabilitation for 3 months, then Bathurst Hospital for 3 months, and then home. So all up I was in hospital for almost 12 months. So then I went to Manildra to live with my dad. He had already started building his house, but he had to redo it so that I could live there with him. And so that's been a little bit of a rocky road all the way, and I think I'm doing a little bit better than talking yesterday, and there's a lot more people in front of me now than yesterday. Am I forgetting anything?
So part of the thing with a brain injury, guys, and don't think I'm being rude here, is remember it can affect your memory and stuff like that, okay? So what we can do now for Chloe is we can ask you questions, all right? So we can ask any of the kids to ask you questions.
Yeah.
I'll start off, okay? We'll get the ball rolling. How many alcohol pops were you drinking that night?
Probably about 20 vodka cruises.
20, so you must have been
probably more. But vodka cruises work so slow that it's like, tastes good, and you know what, if somebody put a vodka cruiser in front of me right now, like I don't drink anymore, but if somebody did, I'd probably be tempted, because you know what, it tastes so good, but it takes so long for it to actually kick in and start working that all of a sudden, like an hour later, it's just like, you're gone, you're completely out of it, and alcohol impairs your judgment, it doesn't change what's going to happen. So,
what time did you start drinking that night?
I really can't remember. I can't remember about a week before my accident and about a month after.
And had you drank much before this incident?
Yes, that's what I did when I, to have fun with friends, and so it was sort of like an escape mechanism, you know, like I got bullied at school and that was absolute crap, and moved to New Zealand and I sort of started acting out. I did a bit of drugs and smoking and drinking, and that was fun because like, I got away with it, but you know what, it only goes too far, and then sometimes it goes way too far.
And so, you know, the butcher who found you that night, what time did you have your injury accident?
Midnight. So it was like New Year's Day.
So do you remember when he was calling you to get down?
I can only remember the panic feeling when I was falling. I can't remember falling, but about 2 years ago I started getting flashbacks of that panic feeling, like you know when you trip and you've got that thud, that first instinct, and you just feel that panic in your chest. It's like that, only it feels like the whole inside's trying to rip out. I can still feel that pain, that panic feeling. And the closest thing would be when you trip and fall and you get that instant.
What was the first thing you thought when you woke up?
I can't remember anything for about a month after I woke up. I have little vague flashbacks, like when my dad was there, and when I was in hospital and I didn't really know what was going on, and when I had the trachea in,
You got the scar there?
Yeah, when I had that in, I couldn't actually talk, so I was sort of just without any words coming out, and when the trachea came out, I was just talking. I knew what I was talking about, but nobody else knew what I was talking about. Because of the brain trauma, it was just rambling, like a little baby trying to talk and tell you something. It was just, nothing was coming out.
And what about the pain? Did you feel lots of pain? Do you still feel lots of pain?
I get a lot of pain in my head from the damage to the brain. Because when I was in a coma, I had a subdural hematoma, which is bleeding and swelling in the brain. They had to drill my skull right there to relieve the pressure in the brain, and I get a lot of pain just around this area, and sometimes it's just pain that's not actually there, so it can drive me absolutely mental, because it's like somebody that has an amputated leg that gets an itchy foot. It's not actually there, but you still get that pain, or you still get that itchy foot feeling that, you know, and you can't do anything about it, and sometimes painkillers don't actually work for it.
Chloe, what were your hobbies before?
Before, it would have been drinking, smoking, and doing everything that my parents told me not to, because, you know what, I was smarter than my parents. I knew better than them. I knew what I could do, and I knew everything that they told me was wrong. So, you know what, they were right every single time, so don't think for a second that they're not right. And I've been in your shoes. I know school sucks and parents are a pain in the ass, but you know what, when you get older, you're going to realise that they know so much more than you do, and they know so much. They want you to have a better life, so that's why they act the way they do.
And what hobbies do you do now?
What I do now is pretty much just sitting at home with my cat. You know, I go to the gym 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday I do work on my upper body and my arms, and on Tuesday and Thursday I've been working on doing standing transfers just to get a bit of strength in my legs, and I do have feeling and movement in my legs, so I'm thankful for that and I'm lucky. But apart from that is like doing artistic sort of things, and I've always been interested in doing stuff like that, so it's just what I do.
Anybody got any questions?
Yeah.
How are you feeling, just in general? Like, how are you?
Thank you. No, I had this is easier than yesterday, and there's more people here today, but yesterday I was sort of choking up, and I do get at that point where I'm just over it, you know? But I think everybody gets to that point at one time, like, you know, you might have a week when everything goes absolute shit, and you might have a day and your parents just won't leave you alone, and then your teachers at school are giving you the shits, and then your friends and just ignoring you or doing something, and just everything sucks. So I do get days like that, and I have had times that that's happened, but I try and just tell myself, get over it, I came back from the dead, so I'm going to live. Yeah?
Have you ever gone to visit the butcher again, like
Yep.
after your accident?
I'm friends with him on Facebook and I see him all the time. If I won the lottery, I'd give him half. Anybody else? Yeah.
What's it like to do you remember what it's like to die? Like, is there anything after?
No. Absolutely nothing. No. Yeah. And it's all still really vague, so there was nothing there. Yeah.
Were you drinking by yourself, or were there people egging you on to do what you've done?
I was at the pub and they kicked me out because I was underage, and I was at the pub because I was 17, and so I got out of the pub and just walked up the street because you got the pub and you've got the laundromat on the corner, and you just go around the laundromat, and then there's the door to go upstairs into my balcony, like onto my my flats upstairs. So I just went up there because him and his girlfriend were going to go home and go to bed or have something to eat or something. So I just went up the stairs and I was there, and you know what, I was invincible because I was drunk. So, you know, being drunk doesn't change anything. Anybody else? Yeah?
Have you gone back to the balcony?
I can't get up the stairs. The wheelchair won't get me up the stairs. But I haven't been to Molong for years now. I really can't remember the last time I'd been to Molong, but it's really hard for me to travel from here, even from here to Molong or here to Bathurst, or even if I want to go down the street and it's raining and I can't get a taxi, so I'm stuck at home because my chair's not supposed to get wet, and I don't really want to be going outside in the rain, so yeah. Any other questions?
Chloe, one of the staff members that's on in the emergency department today was on when you came in and remembered it very, very clearly.
Does that person want to come in and talk? Because that would be pretty cool.
They've got another chopper, as in we've heard 3 choppers today, so I think they've got a pretty big...
Or pretty hectic. Yeah.
Any other questions, guys?
Keeping in mind that any question that you might think is stupid, I won't think is stupid because I know exactly what you mean by asking it.
Can I ask, how do you go to the toilet? Well, I know how you go to the toilet.
She knows how I go to the toilet.
Yeah, can you tell the guys how you go to the toilet?
I have a catheter and a leg bag, and I sort of do it the way a guy does it, but just sitting.
Can I show them your leg bag?
If you want to. I can.
They're cozy looking tights.
Oh, my leg warmers. What's hot?
It's well concealed. Yeah. And how do you go to the toilet for number 2? And how often do you go?
I go once a day. My carers come at 8 o'clock in the morning. They get me ready. They hoist me up in the lifter and put me onto the shower chair, which is just like a seat with a hole in it with wheels, and sit on the bathroom, and I don't have full control of my bowels, so enema it is, which is not the nicest thing to have to do every day. And then I need help to shower as well, and help to dress, and by the time I'm up it's about 10:30 or 11 o'clock and I'm ready for the day, and then I go to bed at 8:30 when my carers come and put me to bed. That's my day.
So how long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
From 8 to 11.
8 to 11. So 3 hours of your life every morning just to get ready?
3 hours at least. Depending if I'm having a good day.
Yeah, we're just lying about all day.
No, I can't. I have a weird compulsion that I have to be doing something all the time, so I'll be doing something and I'll be up even if I haven't slept all night. I will be trying to keep myself awake, but I'm used to not sleeping because of damage to the brain. It's sort of just stuffed up my sleep cycle, so I don't sleep very well. If I want to sleep, I sort of just lean on the bench and do that and end up with a dead arm. So sort of leaning on my arm. Yeah, not a good feeling, and you guys know what a dead arm feels like. So,
have you ever had a pressure sore?
Thankfully not. I have not had a pressure sore. I do have a pressure sore on my heel from being in a coma when my legs were in traction for 5 weeks. It's just like it's like just under my ankles, just back here. And because my legs were broken, they had to be in the big cast traction things for so long. I've been very thankful and very lucky that I haven't had a pressure sore in my bum or in my back or in my feet, apart from the one that's already there. But I can straighten myself up if I'm getting uncomfortable and getting a dead bum, so yeah.
Back to the sleeping. When you're asleep, does anything like interrupt you?
I have tried sleeping pills, and those have made me hallucinate. That's the only time that's ever happened. I've had weird dreams that just completely random dreams that I'm up and running around, or I'm in a weird place with weird people and people that I know and I don't know why the hell those people are there. Just like, you know, everybody has weird random dreams. A few months ago I was having a point where I was waking up in a panic because I stopped breathing. I don't know what was going on there, but the doctor gave me a ventilator.
Can I ask
not a ventilator, the puffer.
Yeah, ventilator.
Yep, that thing.
Yeah. Can I ask, Chloe, the financial burden that it must put your family under must be insane.
My pharmacy bill is about $400 a month, and my uncle is my financial guardian, and he takes care of my power bill, my pharmacy bill, and everything, because with my rent and everything that I have to pay for, and I don't get much back from my pension, so I get enough to eat and enough to do my things. So.
And that's it.
That's it.
And so when you initially had your accident, can I ask, your dad obviously was there the whole time, did he have to give up work?
When I had my accident, my dad was in Yarrawonga at the time, and he had to drive 7 hours from Yarrawonga to Sydney, thinking that I was dead, because they just rung him and they just said, listen, Chloe's just had an accident. We don't know if she's gonna make it. My mum lives in New Zealand, and she came from New Zealand. It took her 3 weeks to come over, and she came over with things to bury me with, and that was the person that wanted to turn me off. So that's why I haven't forgiven her yet. I don't know if I can.
So you can see, guys, how this can fracture families, you know, break up families, and really impact and have serious consequences on lots and lots of different people. Has anybody got any other questions?
Yeah.
It's okay to ask, have you ever faced your mum after that?
Yeah. She came to see me in 2010. My dad died on December 2009, and she came for about a month in like May just to help out and all that sort of stuff. And I've never really been much of a fan of my mum, and so she came, and then in 2010 I spent 2.5 months at a nursing home in Condobolin, and that was absolute, just not a good place to be. You think hospital is bad? Try being in a nursing home in the high care ward. That sucked. But I seen her last year when I moved to I didn't move to New Zealand. I just spent 2 weeks in New Zealand in Queenstown and on a holiday, and she came and she helped out a little bit, and she paid for the cost of renting stuff in Queenstown. So
It's expensive.
yeah, it costs like $250 to rent equipment in Queenstown.
So guys, we might just wrap it up here. I want everyone to thank Chloe for coming in. guys here today remember your story the next time they're about to do something a little bit silly. Okay, we've got a motto here today. Do you guys want to tell Chloe your motto?
Okay.
Would you agree with that one?